Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to be talking about extension cords. Any construction work site is full of potentially dangerous situations. Many of OSHA's regulations have been put in place to make construction sites safe as possible. Out of 4,251 worker fatalities in private industry in the calendar year 2017, 874 of them, or about 20%, were in construction. That is, 1 in 5 worker deaths last year were in the construction industry. Out of a variety of possible injuries, electrical related injuries have one of the largest associated costs. They are the second leading reason for death after falls, so it's no surprise that electrical safety, specifically electrocution, is a hot topic to any person involved in working at construction sites. There are many possible reasons for electrocution, and although all of the accidents could have been prevented, some can be avoided much more easily than others. The topic I want to discuss today is best practices for using extension cords to make jobs much safer. Specifically, I want to mention simple rules that can make a difference with very little effort and without regarding any specific tools. You can either have an assured equipment grounding program. I don't even like to say that word. You see, I stuttered when I tried to save it because they're so difficult. Or GFCI's ground fault circuit interrupters. GFCIs disconnect power if a potentially dangerous situation occurs. A GFCI compares current on the way out and on the way back to a plug, then disconnects the power if there's a leak, a difference, let's say 4 to 6 milliamperes. Not only does this approach save a lot of time otherwise spent on cord inspections, but also a GFCI will respond right away if a dangerous situation happens, preventing possible electrocution-related accidents. So, here's some rules. Rule number 1. Every extension cord on a job site has to have a GFCI to protect users. GFCIs are not expensive, and they can actually be a real lifesaver. Identifying GFCI use with extension cords is one of the best and easiest steps when inspecting a job site for safety. If there's no visible GFCI protection on the extension cord, it does not mean an automatic violation. There is a possibility that the extension cord is plugged into a GFCI protected outlet, or the circuit itself can be protected with a portable GFCI circuit breaker. The fact is that users unplug cords and move to another location without regard to circuit breakers or outlets. In most cases, there's a likelihood that extension cords are not protected, resulting in real danger to users. To avoid this danger, we recommend extension cords with built-in GFCIs or portable GFCIs that come in 25, 50, and 100 foot lengths. Plugging one cord into another one or daisy chaining is a violation of the OSHA standards because it can potentially lead to a fire, equipment failure, or electrocution. Power cord ratings are determined by length. If you plug 2 identical cords into each other, that reduces their current capacity in half and can possibly result in a voltage drop and overheating. In general, extension cords should not exceed 100 feet in length. However, by plugging one extension cord into another, the maximum cord length can easily be exceeded. If the job requires more than 100 foot distance, a temporary power distribution box of some kind is going to be required. Rule number 3. Electrical or duct tape on power cords is an indicator that the power cord has been damaged. Although the power cord can still work, the damaged power cord is a violation of the OSHA regulations, and the power cord should be discarded. It doesn't take much damage to even a new extension cord. Drop tools, as well as rolling over or pinching the cord, can create a potential safety hazard. It's only natural to want to keep an extension cord that looks new and just patch it. Although it might be done with good intent, it's one of the most common extension cord violations of the OSHA rules, and one of the easiest to spot. Guys, it sticks out like a sore thumb, and I see them all the time, and you have to take those cords away and out of the site. Rule number 4. Extension cords cannot be affixed to walls or ceilings using metal nails or staples because of the possibility of damage to the jacket of the extension cord. Extension cords are manufactured with a soft jacket to offer flexibility to the power cord, which makes them susceptible to the damage. The damage can happen during initial installation or during use. During initial installation, the jacket might be damaged when the nail or staple runs too deep and pinches the wire. Even if the extension cord is not damaged during the installation, the soft jacket can be worn through if someone pulls on the cable intentionally. Rule number 5. Extension cords cannot run through doorways. I think this is somewhat self-explanatory, and it might seem to be counterintuitive until you start thinking of one of the main reasons for injuries, which are trips and falls. The combination of an extension cord and a high traffic area, such as a doorway, is a perfect setup for a trip and fall kind of injury. So what can you do about it? Plug your extension cord into the outlet of the room that you're working in. And if you can, avoid laying cords across the room. Let's try and minimize trip hazards if it's all possible. And don't forget your portable GFCI circuit breaker. Always inspect an extension cord for physical damage before use. Yep, I said it. Check your cords for damage before you use them. Eventually, something's going to happen to a cord. That's how they break. Take a look at them every single time. So, some do's and don'ts. Check the wattage rating on the appliance or tool that the extension cord will be used with. Do not use an extension cord if it has a lower rating. Make sure all equipment and extension cords bear the mark of an independent testing laboratory, like Underwriters laboratories. Make sure the plug on an extension cord is fully inserted into an outlet when you use it. Replace an outlet if a plug is too loose. Make sure you match up the plug and the extension cord on a polarized cord. That's where one hole in the plug is larger than the other one. Keep extension cords away from water. People lose their lives using extension cords in water. Use GFCI or ground fault circuit interrupter cords and their protection when using extension cords in wet or damp environments. When you're pulling on the plug, when you're taking it out of the outlet, I know at one time in your life, everybody out there has grabbed the cord and snapped it out. Just yanked it like that. Don't do that. If you're going to remove an extension cord, grab it by the plug and pull it out. Your cords are going to last a lot longer. If you can, store all those cords indoors. Roll them up when you're not using them. Unplug extension cords when they aren't in use. One thing an OSHA inspector says when he comes around is, how long's that cord been laying on the floor? Oh my gosh. If it's over 30 days, it's considered to be permanent wiring. Don't use extension cords marked for indoor use outdoors. Don't plug one cord into the other. Don't overload cords with more than the proper electrical load that's allowed. Remember, don't run them through doorways. Don't move, bend, or modify any of the metal parts. Don't force a plug into an outlet, and don't use it when it's wet. Don't overheat those extension cords. Don't drag them around. That tears them up. And don't attach extension cords to the walls with nails or staples. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Thanks very much. Be safe out there. Remember the 5-second rule. Before you start a job, take 5 seconds. Look around, make sure everything's okay, then go to work. It reduces the accident rate by 95%. Thanks, everybody. Be safe.